I don't know.
No.
What do you mean?
Okay. So now we're going to officially question. You can ask officially question. Really think carefully, ask question, okay?
Well,
Yes.
Can I ask a question? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes?
I hope so. I'm ready. I hope so.
Here you are.
the question period has officially begun.
Yeah.
So, Kimpo, if mind is empty and phenomena is empty and all is an illusion, then what is the continuum? What substance or form or what continues on to reincarnation or Dewachin?
Dewachin?
Well, hopefully Dewachin, but
So can you say again? I did get distracting.
it's, oh,
So,
sorry. It's
Ah,
chat room. Do you want to read it? Would that be easier?
no. It's you can ask me again, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Kimpo, it's trying to understand this concept of emptiness. So,
Yes.
the mind is empty, phenomena is empty, and all is an illusion. Then what is the
Yes.
continuum that they speak of? What continues on to reincarnation or Dewachin? What is eternal? It's not the mind?
It's mine. Yes, mine. Yes.
It is mind.
Yes.
But it's not the coarse mind.
So
No.
then that mind is actually never deluded, never born to again. Like it's mind itself. Nature is. So
Okay.
Then when we talk about an emptiness of mind, is that talking about the mind in the relative truth realm? Is that the mind we're talking about that is empty?
So we're talking about the true truth, right? Relative truth, absolute truth.
Yeah.
So relative truly, your mind is continually going reborn again until you finish emotion, free from self grasping, and then no more emotion. Then until that, relatively, your mind is continually going to samsara. Absolutely, your mind is never going to samsara. Not deluded, absolutely, your mind is pure.
Well, now I'm confused because I thought the mind can't die and it can't be born.
That's absolute truth, yes.
Yes.
Absolute truth, not relative.
Yes. Please think about the true truth, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, right now we are in the relative truth. What we're talking about, we're talking about absolute truth. Why we're talking about absolute truth? Because we wanted to get into the absolute truth. We have wanted to liberation. Yes.
So the absolute truth mind is empty.
Yeah. So empty is no nothingness, right? We already told you this morning.
Yeah.
So many descriptions there are different aspects. Yeah.
I have another question. So we have to liberate ourselves. We have to do the work. But when we did the teachings on the Bardo, or some of your teachings, it was the only ones that can help you with POA when you die are realized masters. So is that different than, like, are you meaning they just help us move over to a Pure Land? Or like, how can they help us if they can't help us?
You mean the Power Hawking teachers can help us?
Yeah, like you said, realized teachers can help us,
Mm,
others with POA at the time of,
yes.
but we have to liberate ourselves. Today, you said we have to do it ourselves. So I guess, so
Yeah, we
Don't
can.
liberate you.
You can get Devachin is a pure line. It's not liberating.
it's not liberated. Okay.
So in the Devachin, you get good conditions, no any obstacles there. So that's why you can liberate yourself in the Devachin.
But, okay, so, but a realized master can help you get to Dewa Chen, where you do the work to
So
liberate.
also realize that teachers can get you Devachin. It's like many need conditions come together too. Many conditions have to come together, not only 100% up to realize the
Right,
teacher. Otherwise, like why Buddha leave us in the samsara? So he is a realizer. So then after Buddha, so many realizer beings, teachers there. So they share us teaching and we follow, we practice, study, and we can get reborn to Devachin. And we can liberate, right?
right.
So the any realizer teachers say you don't have to do anything, I liberate you. No, right?
No,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So
okay.
that means the power also, you have to practice the power too. Yeah. So
Okay.
then, yeah, also sometimes like connections there. So can some realizer teachers can help to the path and like create good conditions to reborn to Devachin.
If you've got a connection with them.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.
So in Dewa Chen, we're not liberated.
Devachin is actually, we cannot say liberation place. Devachin is a really safe place. It's when you, long as you get in Devachin, you don't have to come back again, because in Devachin you can purify all karma there. Devachin has all the conditions to you can purify your karma. That's I understand. Yes. So that's why we try to get reborn to Devachin. Reason is because we are no realizer, we are not self-liberation. So easy to get reborn to Devachin due to the Buddha Amitabha's aspiration and bodhicitta. So then you, long as we also need bodhicitta too. Then long as we have a bodhicitta, we have aspirations. So they create like 4 causes of to reborn to Devachin. They have 4 causes to reborn to Devachin. We have to create that 4 causes of to reborn to Devachin. Then you can reborn to the Devachin.
What are the 4 causes?
4 causes is visualize Buddha Amitabha, create accumulation merit, purify karma, and what is it? The maybe devotion, something like that. Kind of 4 different. I don't remember exactly one by one. So they talk about the 4 causes of. We have to create the 4 causes to reborn to Devachin. Visualize the Buddha Amitabha and create accumulation merit, purify karma, and like it's one is like bodhicitta, you know. One is bodhicitta. Change it, create a good intention.
So when you did the Amitabha, I think, you showed like your crown is a little soft spot.
I don't think that's, I don't know. That's, I don't know.
Well, I felt it, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So ask question from today, this
Okay.
selflessness of a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a whole bunch of questions.
Okay. Your bunch of questions come out one by one.
Okay, if it's too much, I can just stop, all right? But
Okay.
so when first you were talking about show me, what did you do with your life from the time you were born until now? What did you do with your life? Show me. Do you remember saying that? That was one of the
Yes.
first things. And so I'm trying to understand the point of that question. I think you're trying to have us realize impermanence. Or is it that there's nothing to, you can't prove anything that happened, it's only in your memory?
Yes, it's always impermanent.
Okay, impermanence.
Yes, only our memory. Yes.
And so it's very much like a dream. Is that the whole point
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
line of thought?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And the second one, you said, is talking about what is mind and what are thoughts. Do they exist together? Are they, how are they related? So I was wondering, are thoughts could you say thoughts are the movement of the mind? And then if you can say that, what moves the mind? Is it the
No,
karmic
that's not moving my mind is here talking about. That means like we recognize person and the self and the person. You have to recognize first what means a person and the self and the person. So then we talk about moving my mind, like mind is like thinking, and then far aggregate. So all this comes together as we call person and the self.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So then your question is like, okay, like this thoughts come from mind, or thoughts is mind is the same or different? Like thoughts is come from mind or not? So like that is the main point, right? Thoughts is come from mind or not?
I think so.
You said thing is thoughts is come from mind.
They're a manifestation of the mind. Yes.
So then that means the thought, mind is the cause, thought is the result, right?
No, it would be like,
Because it's like thought is come from your mind means like thought is mind is the cause, thought is the result.
well,
That is the logic, logically going right now is like you're saying the logic.
I have trouble with it. I have trouble with the logic. I don't quite understand the logic.
Okay. So if thoughts is come from mind, yeah, then mind is cause, thought is a result.
Well, Nirmanakayas come from the Dharmakaya. Is the Dharmakaya the cause?
No, that is like just totally different. Okay,
Is it?
one minute.
Is
Okay, thought is like actually come from mind. Then mind is the cause, thought is the result. So then you cannot be together simultaneously. Cannot be together.
Okay.
Because the cause and the result cannot be together, right?
Yes. Yes.
You accept that?
Yes.
If something come from that means like you already transform, like cause is transformed to the result, yeah? So then your mind's already become thought. Then no more, you don't have a mind because your mind is already thought.
Why isn't mind like Dharmakaya?
That means the Dhammakaya means mind is okay. So no, why is like the mind thought is like not come from mind because it's a mind is no exist. Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya means no exist.
Okay.
So if mind is no exist, then how can mind can born the baby thought? So if mother is no exist, how can have a child, right? Think about it. So your mind is no exist permanently inherently, then how can reborn the thought? The thought is like permanently inherently exist the thought there.
On the relative level.
Yes.
On the relative level. Don't thoughts come? Wouldn't you say that the cause of thoughts is the karmic wind?
Yeah, but we say like, okay, thought is come from mind. You cannot say yes. Or then thought is not come from mind. You cannot say yes. Like see, the no answers. The reason is the emptiness. Without the mind, you cannot have a thought. So that means like you cannot say, okay, thoughts is not come from mind. Then without the mind, you have a thought. Like we talk about a corpse has thoughts, yeah?
It doesn't come from it, but it's made of it.
Yeah, but how to made of?
I have something.
Logically cannot approving, but okay, dependingly arising, relatively dependingly, but that means like not really approving. It is like become called delusion. That means not really exist permanently, inherently. Okay. So example, like in your dream, you born the child. Okay. So when you wake up, think about the child is born. No, right? Because in the dream, you know, when you wake up in the dream, of course, you born the child, you have a child, maybe child is can growing or child is like can become something going or can be die, whatever in the dream you have. But when you wake up, no birth, no death there. So that means like when you wake up, think about the dream, no mother is existed there. How can you have a born the child? No born the child, how can you have a death? See, always a delusion, always the same dreaming. So now we're talking about absolute truth means this is logic is using absolute truth logic, not relative truth logic. Relative truth logic, you have to find in the relative truth. So you see, okay, there is a smoke, then there has a fire. So you can approving like followed by the smoke, and then you think, oh, there has 100% fire there because it's a smoke. So you use the smoke, and you can approving fire there. That is a relative truth. But absolute truth means like use logic, investigating more deeper than that, and then everything is not exist means like we're going to approving that not exist.
Okay.
Yes.
So the corpse one, can we talk about the corpse?
Okay.
Um, so if you're kind of a fresh corpse, won't forms still appear to you? And then when you're later in the bardo, forms appear to you, but they're more Sambhogakaya forms.
No, what are we talking about? This all is a relative truth. Actually, absolute truth, the no pardon, no living, no this 6 realms, okay?
Oh. Okay, so can you
Who's going to pardon? Because there's no one existed there. Who's going to pardon? That's just absolute truth. Right now we're talking about.
Okay, so can you say the point again?
Pardo, Devachi, that's all is relative truth.
So then is it safe to say the body, mind, and self are nothing more than emptiness?
Yes. Body, mind, self is all is emptiness. Nothing is exist. Then we say, okay, we exist here. This is just relatively, you know, is temporarily, and we can say like delusionally we exist. But if you really exist, then using investigate, use logic, then you have to find exist. So use logic, investigate, we cannot find exist. Same is like thoughts. It's like you cannot find the thought where it's come from. You cannot find where its emotion come from. So that means like emotion, thoughts are not exist. Yeah. If thoughts are emotion exist, then you can have to find the source. Thoughts, emotion, they are not exist. That's why you cannot find the source. That is absolute truth logic. Relatively, yes, your thoughts come from maybe you say your mind, you know, the emotions, thoughts, that's why arise.
Isn't the cause the self though? which is also emptiness?
What is?
Isn't the cause the self? The emotions, isn't the cause the self? But it's all emptiness and it's all impermanent. So
Yes, all is emptiness. Yes.
But isn't the
Self,
karma?
karma also, like absolutely logically, karma also no exist. We're talking about the karma, cause and the effect is a relative truth teaching. So first you have to think about the true
But
truth, you know.
but
Why we're
isn't
talking about the true truth? Because like relative truth exists. Absolutely not. So when you are asleep, you have a dream. Yes, you are dream. You exist or your dream. So when you wake up, that all is a delusion. Nothing is exist. So they who know it's like we think, okay, which is the truth? Delusion is the truth or absolute truth is it? Absolute truth is a reality truth. So for our perception, we are of course like we are delusion is so strong, and the truth for us. That's what I call relative truth for our perception. But reality, absolutely not. That's what I call absolute truth. Yes. So whatever you're thinking, thoughts, is all relative truth. That's why we absolute is already like this morning we say beyond. The Lantong is beyond. Beyond the seeing means like not right now what we thinking seeing is we cannot think is that is right truth. We beyond means something beyond that. That means this everything is a delusion. So we have to wake up anyway. We have to wake up.
Okay, I have a quick question. Is absolute truth revealed during meditation?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Like we think about the same. Like right this morning we shared selflessness of personal meditation. You have to look to yourself. Where is you? You cannot find any place located.
Because it
That
doesn't
means
exist.
yes, it doesn't exist. That is reality, but you don't recognize it. Like we say, I'm safe. Like I'm always we does that, but then really look to yourself, not exist there.
But what's really looking is the absolute.
Yeah, we're just going into the absolutely, right? So we
The,
create that absolute truth.
the absolute truth is what is observing everything that's going on, right?
Mm.
Is that close to the truth?
Yeah. So yes, this morning I share with you the water example, right? See, water is so dirty, always dirty. Then someone said, "This is not possible to drink. You never drink water, or dirty. Always you see the water is dirty." So then someone said, "This can drink." That the person never think about how can drink. This is always dirty. But the someone said, "This dirty is not nature of water. Water has something like clear. See, like this clear, empty. You can drink, you can use. Someone never see like clear and like this kind of clear and can drink water. Someone never see. Someone always see the dirty and like kind of a red color all the time, dusty. So then think about the you know the absolute truth actually is no different from the relative truth. Relative truth is like water is dirty and always dusty. So you have to dirty is have to change to clean. So that is the water reality there. Water, the absolute truth is no separate from the relative truth. The relative truth is still no separate from the absolute truth. But what we're seeing is relative truth. Like water is dusty, dirty. But then that dusty, dirty is have to clean, become pure water come out. So that is the you can drink.
Okay, so another question related to the meditation. How do you discern the truth when you are contemplating during meditation?
Because see, our mind is like already follow the emotions, thoughts, all this, karma, obstacles. Same as the water is dirty, right? Okay, so have to clean up the water dirty. So like take time to clean. Yeah. Same thing, like we have to practice all the different kind of meditations, like have to clean up our mind.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Thank
I
you.
have another question.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if everything is emptiness and there is no body, there's no feeling, there's no emotion, there's no hair, there's no eyes, there's no nose, how come we have to follow so many rules and do so many things?
Because until we don't realize, that's why we have to follow the rules and the laws. If you get it realized, then you don't have to follow the law and the rules.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
But you better make sure you realize.
Yeah.
So Kempo, there's this sentence in the book today,
Mm.
where it's talking about where do forms come from? Do they come from the mind? And it says, if they came from the mind, it would follow that forms should always follow you wherever you go.
Mm.
Don't they?
Of course, if
we're-
your form is like come from your mind, then the form is always follow you because it's come from your mind.
Yes.
Uh,
I mean, just like a page later, it says
yes.
forms and everything else are unreal. And since the mind is not separate from this, it is also unreal. And forms are not anything other than the mind's projection.
Yeah, but that means like form also not rare, and the mind also not rare means like not exist.
Yes.
If mind exist, then mind is permanently exist. Mind projecting these forms, then wherever you go, so this all object is follow you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that means like mind is not exist, the form is not exist. That's why your mind is like apart to forms is like not existently, interdependently arising, not permanently arising.
Okay.
If the permanently arising, then mind projecting permanently object is wherever you go, so this object is follow you, form is follow you. Okay, dependently arising is emptiness, not exist. Dependently arising means no source. You cannot use logic, you cannot find any source of come from. It's always like nothing. So think about like flower. Where is the flower come from? So you really love to cause all the details. You cannot find any like essence of one thing. The all different kind of condition comes together. This flower arise. That means like flower is no essence come from. It's always dependently arising, not permanently arising. So dependently arising is emptiness. How many times I have to talk that again?
Yeah, very good.
We already told like 100 times in the para teaching and the other teachings. Yes.
84,000 times.
Yeah, I think you always go back to so strongly this relative truth and exist, permanently exist.
Campbell,
Please, someone have to mute. Yes. Yes.
Campbell, I have a question.
Yes, please.
When you were at this morning, when you're talking about no self, and you say that in the analytical level, there's no self because it's impermanent and it's compound with a lot of different things, so it's not one thing. So there's
Yes.
no self. But if I define self is not permanent, if I define myself as impermanent and I define myself as with a lot of elements together, then I still have a self there. I just don't define it as permanent.
Okay. So
So
yes.
energetically, I feel that it's just how you define the self. And the self is so, I feel it's so influenced by the Indian philosophy about Atman. And Atman is absolute and independent and everything. But I define myself not absolute. I define myself as impermanent. I define myself as compound with many things. And I define myself as changing. Then I do have the self, do I?
Okay. Yes. You then that means like you intellectually you recognize like self is not one. That means
No,
actually.
I don't.
So then realize that means like you have to meditate and practice. Then you really get into realization means like then you no self is you recognize no self. You know
I
right now. Okay. What let's say one right now what will happen? So we always think about I and ma is one or you thinking about many. We always think one, right?
not necessary to me.
So you have how many I you have?
I don't know how many, but I know I change it
Okay,
all
you
the
have
time.
how many self you have?
I don't count myself. I just count
See, that means like you always like I means only one.
100.
No,
100.
100. Only one. Always we thinking about I means only one.
All
So
the deities.
Yeah, you have a lot of selves.
so that means like always thinking about one I. All the time we thought it was one I. But then we recognize, oh yeah, I is like actually not one, it's so many. So you can recognize that, but still your mind always thinking about I is always one. But even you know, oh yeah, not I is one, but so many compound part of physical body, compound of phenomena, impermanent, but it's not one. Yeah, but still whatever we does is always I is one. So that what that means like you understanding kind of like intellectually like I self is impermanent. But problem is we don't have realized that whatever we say I and the self is not one, but always go back to one. I is one.
So if intellectually I cannot, like intellectually I will say that oh it's impermanent, it's a compound, it's not independent, but that's not enough to realize about no self anatta. You have to go to the meditation to realize it. Is that true?
Exactly.
So
Yes. Yes.
it's not going to
100%
help.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I was in my undergraduate, I was in a meditation retreat, and once I was very, very rigorous retreat, and then we had to see the dead body in the picture and everything. So I meditate on it, and I just put myself as the dead body and everything, and then afterward we had the breakfast. Before breakfast we have 2 hour meditation, then we have breakfast. And I couldn't eat because I just remember the body of the dead body. And then but I forced myself to eat. I said, don't worry, it's no clean and no dirty, just eat. And so I tried to taste it, then it just become like salty is salty and oily is oily. It's not that kind of grasping there anymore because of the dead body. My mind was so strong. And then when I went outside and we had to do the chore in the monastery during the retreat, so I was sweeping the floor and looking, and suddenly something like just fly away from my body. And then I looked at the sky, and I looked at the cow, and I looked at the dirt, and I looked at the wall. I suddenly realized I'm the dirt, I'm the wall, and I'm the sky. And I never understand the experience, but it stayed with me for a long, long time. Is there a kind of no self? If I identify myself, I am everything.
Yeah, so sometimes like we like do something like happening something like you feel it's like just like we are same, it's like just regular object, you know, we can feel like that. Yes.
So
And
that's
so
not
the main
that's
point is
not
like
no
right now,
self-existence.
yes, right now we're talking about the teaching, intellectual, using knowledge, you know, investigating. But the main point is like we have to meditate and realize. Then you realize the selflessness of a person. So then that time you can get your own experience. Then whatever we talk 1,000 times, 100 times, is better than get realized, you know. So
Okay.
right now what we
But
talk, everything is like words because we didn't get realized. So whatever we talk, still we cannot really 100% get idea ourselves. So anyway,
the
like the
no
main
self
point
is
is
not
like no you. Main point is no you like self is like not really your body, no your mind. You self is like not part of any place, like not located. Self is not exist. You realize, recognize that, and then follow the teaching. Then we have to meditate. You know, sometimes when we get emotions, difficulties, always look to yourself and recognize I and the self is not exist. Become your fear is more strong that way, and then less fears, less attachment and desire. So then one day we realize selflessness of a person.
Campbell, I want to understand is the realization, is it how do you know it's a realization that it's not an intellectual thing when you
So
realize,
no,
isn't
when
it?
you realize means like then you don't have fears, you don't have emotions, and you like recognize yourself is not exist, and so it's that time is like we don't have to say like how to recognize it. You can recognize yourself own experience.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, Lisa, you are mute. Lisa, you are mute.
On the relative level, we have suffering and the causes of suffering. We have birth, age, sickness, and death. And if these things are non-existent on this non-relative level, why don't we just skip over all that other stuff and come to this?
You mean to go up to the absolute truth?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
But why do we have to learn the other stuff first? Because it makes it confusing, I think, for people.
Oh, so that means like we have to first step recognize relative truth, and then your second step is like absolute truth.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if we don't in the relatively we don't have create positive karma and accumulation merit. If we don't purify karma, then we cannot understand absolute truth. We cannot get a realization.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kempo, in
Yes.
our Shakyamuni sadhana in the morning, we say something about the Buddha's body is like space and remains changeless throughout the past, present, and future.
Yes.
But somehow this is not eternalism. Can you just clarify?
Yeah, that means like his aspiration, bodhicitta, is continually never end the benefit other beings. So not talking about his body is somewhere exist permanently. You know, his aspiration, his benefiting other beings always like there, you know, never end. So the same is like, okay, example, like someone going to pass away and they give like the big things like for donation to the government, right? There's so many people can use like example the parks, national parks, or like museums or something like that. Like some people donation to the government, so government can like have everyone can use that. So Buddha's benefit is like that, you know. Make sense? Like someone give it where and like you know like the benefit others. So aspiration is like there's so strong aspiration. The aspiration is like not really exist like somewhere else, but always continually benefiting.
Okay, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. That's it's actually really good in the way of Bodhisattva, chapter 9, that talk about wisdom. So in there, right now, what we problem is like in the way of Bodhisattva, they already has the discussions. Hinayana, Shanti, they were always debating in there. The Hinayana, there's monks say everything is emptiness. Then why we have to follow the karma? So how can Buddha benefit others? So then Shanti Deva give all these answers like, you know, emptiness, that's why benefit others. If not emptiness, permanent cannot benefit others. Because permanent is like useless. Means like you cannot change anything, you know, you cannot rapiding anything. First, you cannot create. Secondly, you can, even you have something that it cannot change. So then the Hinayana, the debate with Shanti Deva, and they say, if there everything is empty, then why we have to practice the Dharma? You know, why is karma cause and effect? Why we wanted to liberation? So that's all the debating already there. So main answer is like everything is dependent. That's why everything is possible. All dependent is emptiness. And that's why everything is like possible. You know, that's why I have karma cause and effect. So that kind of, you know, lots of good answers in their way of Bodhisattva. Okay, so now who has questions?
I have a comment.
Yes.
This July 2020 is the 5-year anniversary of when you provided your book to Garchen Rinpoche in Arizona, the supplications to the ultimate illustrious Tara.
Oh.
So it's 5 years ago you presented that to him.
Oh, I see. I didn't remember anything.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, but I did notice, and I just wanted to recognize that that was a great accomplishment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Can we talk about body?
Yes.
So I was a dancer and always witnessing the self through dance, through movement, because we were practicing authentic movement, organic movement, intrinsic movement. So to find that source inside that then you witness your movement and your emotions and everything. And I think that I know I came to understand Buddhist ideas because of those experiences, because you have to have an internal luminosity, right? The emptiness inside in order to allow the intrinsic movement to manifest.
Hmm.
So then, but that ties me to this earth plane, right? So that's how I understand. I don't know. I mean, I think it's very special that we can be alive. Like when we were talking about the Bardo, that we can have, you know, we're in this place in the South where we practice Dharma. There's other places we can go and take a manifestation and they're not practicing Dharma. Maybe they have wealth and riches and luxury, but they're not practicing Dharma. So then we come here and we have this human body. And I'm also watching you today because on one side of you, there is an empty blue sky, and on the other side of you, there are clouds floating by. So it's making me really understand that there's that dynamic interconnectivity. So are the clouds part of the sky? No, the clouds are part of samsara, part of this earth, part of this realm. They arise from the water, they cycle through, they change like our thoughts, like our body, like our emotions. But behind the cloud is not the sky is the emptiness. So we have this body, we have this opportunity to experience life. I think I would come back here maybe rather than go to one of those other places.
So no, what you're sharing is like all is like impermanent and it's there but not really inherently exist, like television, you know, you can see, you can dance, you can movement, you can talk, but not really there, but it's there, you can see. So that is like emptiness.
Yeah, and I think
That
there's
is all called like that is called dependently arising.
yeah, and even with the emotional states, I mean, sure, we have suffering, but we have joy. And then
Yes.
for me though, I was a dance professor, but I hit my head in a car accident and I can't dance like I used to dance. So that's been, I mean, it happened when I was like 41. So for, I don't know, 20 years, 25 years, I was dancing. Every time I was dancing, I would go back to that pure state. Like that would clear the karma, that would clear the emotion, clear the mind, whatever was obscuration. I had a vehicle, and then after my car accident, I hit my head, I can't do that anymore. Now I have to find a different vehicle, and it's more still, it's different.
Yes. So yeah, your thing about your dancer, this all is like dependent.
Yeah.
It's really doesn't, like, you know, like whatever you movement, you doing things, all it's so many contradictions there. And dependingly. That's why you have this all different kind of movement. You can do so many, like, you know, like nice movement, beautiful movement. That's all is like condition. It's dependent.
Yeah.
It's that. Why is it that? Because it's not permanent. That is impermanent emptiness. That's why you have ability to do these dances.
Okay.
So, yes. So then you really look to reality. Where is your movement? Look to your body, like each part of your body. Which is movement? What is doing these things? You really cannot find it. But all this comes together. You have movement, all these different kind of postures. You can show beautiful something. You know, that's all. It's like interdependent. So many connections come together.
Yeah.
So that is a dependent arising. That is called emptiness.
That is dependently rising. That is called emptiness? Or that
Yes,
is then
that means like emptiness means like not really permanently anything exists there, but all this comes together doing things. Like same as TV shows.
yeah.
Okay, so
I
that's
have more suffering now because I can't do that. So I have
yeah,
to
but
do
that's also depending because like connections, like so many causes of conditions. So some conditions are not ready there. That's why you cannot do. If permanent, you can do. That means not permanent. That's why you cannot do because it's dependent.
so it's a lesson
Yeah.
in impermanence.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Liberation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now I think we go to meditate. Look to yourself. Where is I? Where is the self? Where is my emotions come from? Where is my thoughts come from? Where is they are located? If any place you find located, any like come from permanent source, let me know. If you cannot find anything, that means you recognize selflessness of a person. Ready, meditation? Okay, so go into the meditate. Close eye is better, look to yourself. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Going to do the dedication. You're going to share the screen, Marilyn? Ngomsar sonje namwan da ye da yesu jobo duje jambo da yonde zamban de jendo na la sanje sanse ba min ko jigu de jang ngomsar ba de me ba ye de wa ji ye sa ve jang ga de da yen de ne zen be jer ma da che wai yin je bar mai je bai ru te re jin ne nan de yar dong yo de ge da ge mo lan da ban de so je san sen dan je je ke men de bar sin je la de so ya da ben zan de ya wa bo de na ye so ha san jo sem jo rin bo je ma je ba nan je jo ra je ba nya ba me ba ya gong ne gong de be wa re yo so nam de ye dam je zi ba nye Omne nimbe dana banze de jiga namje balong chubai siben solen roai yon jambara bave jadaran jembat kenda zambo de yan de yen de dai genje jiza dalog Gewain de dai dam je rab de moi jizai grinze grinjin chijet tem de ne lai wan de digong ba ren je bar je tem ba sin de je do de zang gong ben zin jo je. Thank you everyone. So see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Kempo.
Tomorrow.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kempo.
9 o'clock.
Thank you,
Easter.
9 o'clock tomorrow. Eastern
Easter.
time.
Thank you.
So then we
Thank
can
you.
meditate more selflessness of a person.
Ah,
So you can get realize the selflessness of person. Then no any questions,
Excellent.
no any doubt.
Excellent. Thank
Let's
you.
hope so.
Yes.
yeah.
So then we are free from cage. Yeah.
That
Got
would
it.
be great.
That will be great, right?
Yes, well, we're working on that.
Then we can fly.
yeah.
No, we are stuck in the cage. So your whatever we think is in the cage, hooking like okay, I can move here only touch there. I can move only that. No any thinking the more than that. So free from cage, you can fly endless, immeasurably.
Yeah.
So our thoughts, emotions, selfish, put we are in the cage.
we don't need them.
We have to break the cage.
We want to be free range, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to get liberation. We have to get permanent freedom.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do
Okay.
that tomorrow.
Enjoy. See you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Temple.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.